Disney and Pixar fans unite! Hey, what's happening, gamers? I'm Kwing, and welcome to Disney Infinity, Disney's answer to Skylanders. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to mash that like button, add your favorites, and light up that comment section, because it really does help us out a lot. Without further ado, we hope you enjoy our walkthrough, let's play guide, whatever, on Disney Infinity. Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome to another Disney Infinity toy box.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
What do you think here? How dare you puckle me cakes, you wee devils? Oh, well, what are you waiting for? Go get those boys, you lazy carvings. Oh, I'll think of a spell for those three. Being bear cubs was a lark compared to what I could dream up for them.
Turning them into bear trees?
Yeah, or like maybe she made the trees into bears.
Get you or you get them. Just give me my cakes.
They're called bear trees. It's science. Wooden bears. What's happening?
It's in a game, so it makes it scientifically accurate.
Somebody be helping us. All right, so this is the Brave
Power
disc thing, and it's the only thing that Merida has that she can explore that we know of.
We're gonna bravely go through this level, which is very, I don't know, I don't know.
You already don't like it.
It's just, I mean, I can't
She's
see
tiny.
her. I can't see her up close.
We get sidekicks though.
It's much different than I thought it was gonna be.
You need the cake, don't you? Toss me into that well and see if I can figure out what's going on. Already if people be asking, hey, why you be making fun of that language? I am that language. It's my heritage. So there.
So I say, why have you been making fun of me?
I can make fun of myself. Did that work? If so, grab and throw me again. I couldn't. You read it so quickly.
Yeah.
That was worth the effort. No, it wasn't. You know what was worth the effort? Me shooting all these boxes.
And this is me playing my violin. No, I'm just kidding.
You could totally play that.
Yeah, maybe.
Gaelic violin. Well, I don't think they had Gaelic violins, but maybe they did. I don't know.
Oh.
Don't quote me on that. Don't write that on your history paper, kids. Kwing says there's Gaelic violins. F. What I can be telling you is that Brave takes place during the 10th century.
Yep.
Which was a long time ago.
A very long time ago.
Aye. Back during
That would have been much before Robert Bruce. Robert the Bruce.
Yeah, Robert the Bruce.
And be quick about it. I don't have all day.
Well, you're gonna be having all day, because I want some cake.
So this would actually be 200 years before Braveheart, or several, at least a couple hundred years before Braveheart.
Aye.
Because Braveheart was in the 13th century, when William Wallace was running around.
Here's the thing that I don't understand about like different dynasties and things like that, though. How would you put Mulan in the same time? Like, what's the difference between Merida and Mulan? If Merida is like the 900s. I know Mulan is like during like the Tang dynasty or something like that, but I don't know when dynasties took place in AD or BC or whatever. Maybe Mulan's the oldest. I don't know.
I don't know. The Han dynasty and the Tang dynasty, I don't know, because they were on a different calendar than...
Yeah. But I do know...
I don't know.
I do know that besides what I'm doing here with my sidekick, which I have to equip him, because that's what this game is about, apparently.
We were looking up some castles and seeing when different people...
Yes, because Amber wants to make sure that everything is so perfect in a Let's Play.
No, because Luke was guessing at different times, and I was like, you know what?
Guessing before we started.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, we want to get this correct.
So I had to go to school. I had to learn things.
Well, I just looked up a website.
She's a terrible teacher. She like throws things at me. No, you're stupid. You're 30. What are you doing?
Well, I just...
Be like, don't be throwing anything at me. I'd be allergic to whatever you be throwing. Maybe that's what my grandpa has to deal with.
I don't know.
Angry grandmother throwing things.
She's not throwing anything at you.
Well, she does swing knives at people if they walk into her kitchen.
No,
well,
she does not.
She bobs it up and down, like when she's talking to you. She's like, now why you be coming into my kitchen? And it's interesting. My grandmother's Portuguese, so, you know, how she developed
Yeah.
an Irish accent, I'll never know sometimes. she was a Portugal immigrant.
Maybe she's just been around your grandpa. She starts.
But he
to
doesn't
talk.
have a thick accent anymore. Like, he sounds like he's from the Bronx. And there we go. You can zoom in on Merida a little bit for a second. And I promise we'll play as Merida, like, in a toy box that you can make with lots of trees and people to fight.
Yeah.
Then you can see Merida better. But yeah, I am fascinated by, like, medieval stuff, and we did learn that there are several Disney princesses that take place during the medieval era. Well, I mean, the medieval era was, like, what, 500 AD until, like, 1500 AD or something like that? Or
I guess so, but then there are other sites that I looked at that said the medieval castles were between, you know, the 10th century to the 17th century, so it's just like, I think everyone defines it differently, you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, a general idea of, it doesn't matter.
the Renaissance had better
bore
buildings,
anybody.
so I wouldn't put the Renaissance during the Middle Ages. That doesn't make any sense.
But you have to understand that there were people that were, like, more advanced in different countries depending on where you were. Like, sometimes people were back in the Middle Ages in one country where other people were more advanced in another one. You know what I'm saying? It lasted longer in other countries.
Now, the Celts didn't know about undergarments.
No. Well, I bet the ladies did. She's a princess.
Yeah, the princess, yeah, probably.
Just the...
But then again, she's wearing more clothes, so you don't know. But yeah, that's the one thing that I
She has to
always
be a
was
little
kind of
bit
like,
more formal.
what is the point? I mean, now thankfully kilts are a little bit different, but back in the day it was kind of like, I mean, way back.
The point was to,
Offend people.
yeah, it was to freak them out so much that they dropped their swords and then you just attacked them.
Yeah.
It was supposed to make them freaked out, like it was a scare tactic.
They could have like a debate.
You
Why
don't
aren't you
have
wearing
anything-
pants?
Exactly. Where are your pants? And then they
Sword through face.
they drop their sword to avert their eyes, and then you come after them.
Aye.
Well, they had to do anything they could, though, because they were being attacked by, you know, the Romans, and then they were attacked by England, and they were just attacked all over the place, you know?
Yeah, they had to.
They were this tiny little country up there, and they fought off the Romans. Like, they were one of the few places that
Not
did.
only did they fight off the Romans, they fought off the Romans wearing dresses. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No, their kilts are awesome. I'm gonna have to get you a kilt for Christmas now.
never.
And a pair of
You got me into a bee costume
you want
once.
you
You're
want a
never
pair
getting
of
me in a kilt.
clogs like your parents always want you to get, or your mom did at one point.
Okay, the story is during the whole like Irish steppe craze and Celtic like sweeping the nation, you know, with all like the Lord of the Dance and River Dance and all this different stuff. My family, it was just like in passing. It wasn't like I had to do this. They were like, "Oh, you're very tall. You should become an Irish step dancer." And it's like, what? It's like I'm gonna grow up and make video games or something. And it's
They're
like,
like-
no, I think you'd be better as a stepper. And it's like, we get you these little like, you know, stepping
What
shoes. or
could have
whatever they're
been.
called. And it's like, no. And it's not like there was any place nearby where I could learn this
Yeah,
stuff either. So
it's like, what was their plan for this? Yeah, exactly.
and it was during a time when my mom was like super obsessed with everything Irish,
yeah.
which would have been like 97 through probably 2000, something like that. 99.
Well,
I
you
don't
have
know.
Irish from your mom's side and your dad's
Yeah.
side, so you guys have like, it's like really super saturated Irish. in
I'm
your
like
family.
I'm like a mix of Scottish and Irish.
Yeah.
So I'm like the combination of two great cultures into one, making me meh. So
You're Scotch Irish. That's
it
the
is
thing.
magic. I'm Scot Irish. And what's funny is I mean, I remember reading this somewhere. I don't exactly know where. So again, don't like write this down, but I remember
I'm writing
that-
it down for my next book report.
No, I remember that the Scottish and the Irish didn't like each other very much for some reason. I don't remember what the reason was, but I know there was like curness between the two. Curness. Yeah, that'll be on a t-shirt.
Well,
Curness.
wouldn't there be kind of like I don't know, animosity between different clans anyway, even within themselves, like their own, I don't know.
Well,
There's
I do know later that the Roman Catholics and the Irish Catholics didn't like each other, which is funny because
Well, they're two different kinds of
Yeah. My grandfather was a Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
And my grandmother was Roman Catholic, and they got together. But my grandmother was from Portugal, and my grandfather was an Irish American. So they've been married 60 years. So it worked out for them.
Awesome.
They made peace.
Yay! Why can't the world?
Exactly. If they can do it.
That was a cool castle there. Yeah.
And they haven't lost their fighting spirit either.
Well, the Irish Catholics, that was before, the Roman Church really influenced everything. Because, the whole, they introduced a lot of interesting things in there, like the boiling your hand and stuff, all that weird
why don't we
stuff.
say this?
All that scary stuff that the Romans did.
In terms of Disney movies, Merida is the oldest Western culture.
Yeah, we don't know if she's older than Milan, but I
don't even know.
The oldest medieval castle probably is her castle.
Yeah, which is basically just like a hall.
Would have been one of the first medieval castles, so
sure, and it would be.
I actually like that kind the best. If you build me a castle, I want one like that. I want one like this.
Sorry,
I want one of the real old school ones.
I'm trying to throw this
10th century castle.
Which is the 980s. Or
900s.
900s.
ADs.
You know what?
You know what? It's cute that you tried. No.
Don't patronize me, woman. I'll flash my kilt, even though I don't have one.
This has been The More You Know.
The More You Know with Kwings. Write it on your history report.
I did have to look up because I wasn't sure if her dad was the king or if he was just the biggest.
No, he was
the biggest chief in the area, but yeah, he was the king.
I very much doubt that back then, even though, they're kind of like nomads a little bit, they have some organization between the clans, but the interaction between the daughter and the king was so modern. It worked, but I really doubt that the princess would have addressed her father that way back then. But then again, they weren't as cultured as some of the other Disney princesses and Disney characters we saw. So maybe in terms of the Celtic history, or the mannerisms, maybe that is how Merida and her father would have acted.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think you're right. I think they were a little more laid back than, the stuffy, Sorry, I won't say what countries, but the other countries that probably would have been a little more stuffy and more.
Well, the thing is,
had more rules to them.
Before we brushed up our history, the only medieval time that I thought existed in Disney, in terms of princesses, would have been Aurora, which in the movie, I remember, it's either Prince Philip or one of his aides says, something he's wearing is from the 14th century. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people have gone and said, no, that was wrong what he said, so it was supposed to be 15th century.
How could it be wrong?
Right.
It's in the movie.
Well, because in the movie, Italy is in two parts, southern and northern, and there's two kingdoms, and divided by the Alps, which they show in the movie. They show this huge mountain range dividing these two kingdoms. Stefan's kingdom and Hubert's, I think, is the other guy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But Aurora, even her dress and the style of the stained glass and the castle, and
Stefan's kingdom in North Italy and Hubert's in South. Yeah. I have it on my phone, so I'm not smart. I just have a phone.
Yes, smartphone makes you smart.
I don't have a phone, but I'm not smart.
That all came out of my head.
No, so I'm not smart, but my phone is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I just did that off the top of my head because I'm cool. That's how I roll. Snow White, I'm so confused when it takes place, but I always thought it was medieval.
It's old.
And because it's an old German tale, but I don't know what century it would have been. I know it's after Aurora.
According to what we looked up, it says 1500s.
So it'd be 13th century then?
No, 1500s. That'd be 16th century.
Okay, yeah. So then, that's definitely after Aurora. Math.
Yeah,
K-Wing math.
So Brave would be probably the oldest Disney princess.
Yeah. Unless the Mulan dynasty is
unless
older.
Mulan is older.
And of course, whatever Jasmine takes place, because Jasmine is weird too. Because I'm pretty sure that it's during the Persian Empire, just by some of the idols and stuff they have in the city and things like that. But it could also be during the rise of that other tribe. I don't remember the name of it, but Could be then. It's fun to try to place these movies when there is no like official thing.
I also like to think of some of them are kind of made like the Batman the Animated Series. Like they take aspects from different centuries and they put them together to make it look cooler. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I think sometimes they use aspects, like I think they don't make it entirely historically accurate. They add things, hang on. Know what I mean?
We need to give Merida a power. We're giving her empty thy quiver.
I think sometimes they merge stuff together, kind of like they did San Francisco. You know, I wonder if they merge stuff together.
Based on the clothing that Snow White and Aurora and some of these other people have, I really think that they're medieval princesses, and Merida is during the medieval time, but she's like before the, the tens or whatever they call it, the teens. Medieval teens.
I don't know when the Persian Empire was. I know it was way back then.
BC, I think.
If she was in BC, then she's older than Merida.
She's older, or Jasmine. Or wait, no, Jasmine is either older or Mulan. Because the Forbidden Kingdom, like, it's so... I've never been good at Asian history and things like that, because there's so many different dynasties, and in Japan there's so many different, like, shogunates and things like that. It's just kind of like, when does this take place in BC or AD? It's like, oh, my head just blew up.
Yeah.
Because, when they started guns in the 1800s, that was a different shogunate time period, and it's just like, please just make it easy for me.
Yeah.
I remember I was writing a history paper on the Last Samurais, and everything was so confusing because there was like so many different like magistrates or governments and things like that, and it was just like they were trying to, when I did the report, they were like, great, so when did this take place during this point in time? It's like, what? It took place here, as they stated. It's like, no, what about for the rest of the world? It's like they were doing their own thing. It's like,
yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, I couldn't find it, okay? Sorry, we didn't have really the internet back then.
Yeah. I think it's interesting the Cinderella takes place in people say it takes place in the 1800s, 1850s, 80s.
It's got to be Renaissance though. Look at her dress, and look at the castle's just too pretty. Medieval castles. It doesn't even have like arrow slits in the castle.
Yeah, and the castle was created around this in the 1800s, like that it was based off of.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say the name of the castle, but everyone knows the Cinderella castle that was based off of. It's in Germany. You can look it up online.
Wait, no, that's Russian. Fail. But no,
that works.
the only Disney movie that I've ever been able to place, and I always knew this, is because of Gaston and the little village that Belle is in. But Gaston has like a round musket, and those would have only been around like probably between the late 1400s into the early 1600s. So that would put Beauty and the Beast like right around, I want to say, the 17th century.
Yeah,
like
1700s. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that would be the 16th century then.
No, it'd be the 18th century.
The 18th century.
1700s, 18th century.
I always get my centuries confused.
Yeah.
But yeah.
In France.
Yeah, it's definitely in France because of like, where it takes place and the beauty and his castle is like very French. Like when it's not all creepy and gross looking. Like with all the torn tapestries and stuff like that.
I like tapestries.
I found your cake, so what you be blabbing about? I win. But yeah, since I think we finally found the exit. Yep, exit located. In our next episode, we'll talk about why we liked the movie Brave.
Yay.
And, sometimes randomness is just a part of ADD, folks, and I like fact-checking things.
He's curious. Kwing the curious cat.
I'm not a cat.
He's
I'd be more
cool
like a
cat.
lion. I'm like Lion-O.
Kwing the curious lion-o.
Oh!
I was curious too. I was more curious than you because I wanted to. I got obsessed with it and I wanted to find out all the different things.
Super obsessed.
We didn't even actually name all of the castles we could have named.
No, there's a lot of castles.
Pretty much,
like Rapunzel is so confusing.
I believe that Brave's Merida's castle is the oldest castle.
That's grand.
Yeah, it is pretty
It is grand.
And
you win. You
I
win
have
the internet.
to say that her castle, the one she's in with the, it's like a big. What would you say? What did you say? It was like a big manor house, kind of like that.
It's a manor.
And that was kind of like the kind of, like he would kind of defend all the other clans. Kind of, they would come into the. I don't know. I guess they'd have their big meetings where, you know what it reminds me of? Merida's castle reminds me of something out of Lord of the Rings. Where they all come in and they have their stew and they have trolls in there and stuff like that. Except for there were really castles like that back then, really bulky castles. They weren't meant to look pretty. They were meant to fend off people.
Yeah.
But to me, they do look pretty.
Well, I mean,
and then
before I forget this too, I mean, there was with the Pixar. Wait, no, was Tangled wasn't a Pixar film, was it? I don't think it was.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know.
No, Brave was.
But Tangled was based off Rapunzel. So,
yeah, and Rapunzel, like, that always confused me, though, because, I mean, and it confuses a lot of people. Like, there's no 100% accuracy when it takes place, because they do talk about, like, Pascal and Mozart, like, in the film, but that might have been just, like, characters name-dropping.
Yeah.
So some people have it, like, Rapunzel is between 1795 and 1820s. Like, but, yeah, nobody really knows for sure, but a lot of people are pretty sure that it's either in Italy or close to Austria. So, yeah. That's about the best people can do, because the dress that she wears is, like, very 1600s-ish, like her gown. It's more like a nightgown, though. Not really like a.
Well, Austria is a beautiful country.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple Disney princesses.
And her hair was braided.
Austria's.
So I mean that was very like Swedish, kind of German, like with the braided hair.
Swedish German? I didn't know that was a race. I don't know.
No, I meant Swedish people.
German.
They also like.
Everyone braids their hair.
They're kind of Dutch, right?
What are you talking about?
Swedish aren't Dutch. Amber's hiding. Hey, I've never been good at geography, okay? They all, to me, the Germans and the Swedes and the others, they kind of like look the same a little
Pineapple. Wow.
I only know Irish stuff, okay? Irish and Asian.
Just don't put this on your history report, kids.
Yeah, don't. This last part, just yeah.
As soon as I gave the phone to you, it went all.
I didn't even look at the phone. Should I look at the phone?
He can wear a little kilt. That's cute.
Yes, he can like terrify everyone because this is long before underwear was invented.
Yeah, actually, with the people with their blue faces, that's totally accurate. Because in the 10th century, they still would have had the crazy blue faces to scare their enemies.
Well, some of the clansmen would.
Yeah, and they had that in Brave. That was cool.
Yeah, but we'll talk about Brave. We will, because Amber loves the movie so much.
Yeah, but this doesn't really do it justice. I'm sorry, but this it's just like, I like the music, but it's just like,
well,
you have to talk about random things while you're playing because it's just like, I don't know.
It's a little boring. I mean, I like where they're going with it. It's very kind of Gauntlet-ish, but I just wish that the creators of this would have made it like a little bit lower to the ground, like so you could see the character.
Lower to the ground.
Lower to the ground. She's a bit too small.
A wee bit too small.
Wee bit small.
It's.
Don't know why they did that, but they did it.
I do not know.
And it bothers me greatly. So what I'm gonna do here is, well, I was hoping I could zoom in a little bit, but I can't. So I'm gonna have to take out my frustration on my brother here and just throw him off the cliff.
So if we learned anything, the castle that I like is the 10th century. So that's the one I want Kwing to build me someday.
I always like the Aurora Castle, personally. That was my favorite from Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But anyway, gamers, we're done. We'll see you tomorrow with more Brave. Bye-bye.
See ya.